We are so happy
And
to see you all today.
oh yeah, we are. And it looks like everything is working. This
All
we had
right.
a
It
couple of
sounds
hiccups recently, but it seems first of all we are live.
mhm.
Secondly, it's being recorded. That's two good things. And we already have our guest in the waiting room.
All right.
So that's not bad. But I know there was something really on your heart, and I'm happy. I no, I'm happy. I'm glad that things turned out in a way that you wish they would turn out.
Right. And I think there is a lot of people that were, happy that justice was served. I mean, what can I say? What does it take to make someone believe that it was the right thing to do? I don't want to really talk a lot about it, but I'm just so very happy that justice was served.
Yeah. But on a personal note, I would like to ask you something.
Hmm.
Were you surprised that the deliberations were so short?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't surprised at all. No, when it's a quick deliberation, that normally means, everyone is pretty much on the same page.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was
So
the way
no.
my question. So I'm glad.
Hmm.
I mean I kind of was surprised that it went so fast.
Right.
Um, but that is probably also projection from previous trials,
Hmm.
where they would take time. And but there it seemed that the prosecution did a very thorough work, to prove their case, and that the defense just couldn't come up with something
Right.
that that said, "Hey, he didn't do it."
Right. Exactly. I mean, anyone that saw the tape, I mean, hey, what can you say? That's very inhumane. No one deserves that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was
No, but
only obvious as to what should have happened. So, anyway,
but one more little thing, and that really surprised me, is that actually President Biden first of all spoke to the family and then did a public appearance.
mm,
You know,
okay.
that makes me feel like there is change.
Right. It's
You
it's
know,
coming slowly but surely.
yeah,
He has
no,
a
and
lot of work to do, and we can't expect him to do it in overnight.
no, but I think he's crossing a couple of lines that some presidents, I think, never dare to cross.
Right, exactly. And the other president crossed lines too.
Yeah, in a
A whole lot of
totally
lines. So
different.
anyway.
That is actually that is actually fun. You know what? We that would be a subject, but for a different show
Okay.
with different people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay. With no further ado, I will let Raul Palma in. And just for our viewers, for the ones which haven't followed on a regular basis our show, hello, Raul.
Hi guys, how are you?
Oh, we're doing
I'm
good. How
good.
are
How
you,
are you?
Raul?
I'm doing great, thank you.
And just for our, viewers, we had you already on the show. Uh, already nearly half a year ago, and you were in the process actually um, of continuing to to do your profession, in LA. So in that time, a lot of things happened. Would you mind just remind our viewers what you used to do? Just
No, not at
the
all.
1 minute
Wow.
elevator, boom.
Yes, everything. Well, I used to be a stripper. No, 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 no. I wouldn't make any money doing that. It's a fine profession, but
But
not
you
for
know,
me.
that's recorded forever now.
That's okay. That's all good for my grandchildren. So, for a little bit of background, for the people that didn't see the first show, I worked in television for over 20 years. To be a specific, sports television
Mhm.
in production and programming. Uh, in the international market as well as the US Hispanic market. Okay. And my role was basically being in charge of productions, in charge of the production department for different networks, for all of Latin America, the US, for the US Hispanic market, etc. So that was my bread and butter. That was what I did for over 20 years. Then I parted ways with the company when I was living in Miami. The family and I, we relocated to Miami for a few years, and we were eager to come back, and we parted ways with the company. We thought it was time. And I started on my own, trying to do some independent work in the same field that I was. Okay. That wasn't too easy for me. One of the reasons is because my whole career has been extremely niche, is extremely narrow in exactly what I used to do, regardless that I had competencies to do a multitude of other jobs in my area. It seems I was classified. I started multiple projects, did some projects, work here, work there, but nothing really panned out and nothing really caught my attention. So that's when my midlife crisis hit home, and I started thinking, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that I have a passion for? What is it that I want? My options start to run out. I start um, not liking the corporate world anymore. And I wanted to do something for myself, something that was mine. And it was hard. It was hard in my industry right now because my industry has changed dramatically. The way television is, the way that we're consuming. I mean, shows like yours 10 years ago weren't possible, basically,
Mhm.
in many ways. You know, you needed to hire a complete crew, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, with a minimum investment, you can create content, which is great, which is great. So time passed. I had a few projects. I freelanced as the director for a while, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't being fulfilled. And so the new chapter starts in a week
Mm.
from now.
So in a week. So
Right.
just let me recap. You know, I've known you for, well, gosh, nearly
Oh,
20 years.
yes.
And yes, you made it actually very far in the corporate world. Um, I won't mention the company since you have mentioned the company, but it's one of the biggest television and information companies in the world. And you were heading a studio for Latin America. And well, put it there. In the corporate ladder, I would say, from my point of view, you had made it.
Oh, yes. Yes, I
So
think that
through,
in, yes.
yes. So now several circumstances happened, and you found yourself back in LA, but still with a resume where I would say most of TV companies should have been happy to have you on board.
Mhm.
But like things, and this is now, I'm sorry, I'm going to age you a little bit,
Go
Raul.
for it. Go for it. I'm
But
doing Botox this weekend.
I think there's something that we all three have encountered. Um, there is age discrimination,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and um, I don't want to say we are too tired to walk to a lawyer and say, hey, you know what? This is my 50th application has been turned down. I have all the credentials for this job, but I've been turned down again.
Mhm.
So you went in a direction where you said, fuck it.
Yes.
Pretty
What is
much.
something that, you know, you have all that experience in that industry. And like you said, it was very niche, but nevertheless, you accumulated that experience and you're like, oh, great, good for nothing.
Yeah. uh, it took me a while. It took me a while. First, it was a traumatic experience leaving this big company that I worked for so many years because it becomes part of your identity. The corporate card becomes part of your wallet and it's not yours.
Mhm.
But you basically, it took me a while to separate myself from the title, to humble myself from the title, the salary,
Mhm.
and all the other perks that the corporate world brings. Um, it was hard. I was working at the beginning with a lot of headhunters, and many of them said your resume sometimes could intimidate.
Mhm.
And also, like you said, nowadays they'll grab a kid 20 years younger than me, pay them half the price, and work them
Mhm.
to the bone.
Wow.
They'll learn, they'll do a good job, they will probably do even a better job than me, but this is the corporate mentality.
Mhm.
And because people don't want to pay a lot of time for a lot of experience that a person might have. And when I started towards the middle of my search for something different or something new in my area, I was humble. I wasn't asking to be the guy that I used to be or to make the money that I was making. No, but I got tired. I got tired of looking. I got tired of my industry. I got tired of, I still love production. I still love to create and direct. Don't get me that. I just got tired of the politics and everything else that I
Mhm.
thought that I was extremely comfortable with. But after being away for a while, it was kind of like a relief for me not to be in that environment. And let me tell you, what I made and what I worked, it wasn't free, meaning that I worked my ass off and I sacrificed family, I
Mhm.
sacrificed time,
Mhm.
personal time, because I put the company in front of everything.
Right.
When I was in Miami, in my last thing on the job, I was there for 3 years. Out of
Mhm.
those 3 years, I was traveling over 75% of the time. So, you know what I know from Miami? The airport. I know the airport very well. I know the best bars in the airport, but if you tell me about anything else about Miami, I wouldn't know. Uh, but that led me, that and another thing, the pandemic. The pandemic basically put a hold on everything,
Mhm.
put a hold on everything. And during that time, I I tried to spend it growing myself, growing in a way of learning things that passion me. And one of the things that I have a passion for, and Eric knows, is eating, food, hosting, and entertaining. I couldn't host or entertain too much during the pandemic, obviously, for obvious
Mhm.
reasons. But I started taking culinary classes. I started looking into different things. And And I
And
had,
hold on, if hold that thought,
mhm,
hold that thought, because just just look at Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Liz did that for you, Raul. That background, because usually we always have the Eric and Lizz Show background, but Liz went a little further, just to reflect the next chapter of your life.
yes,
That's
yes,
right.
yes,
Please
yes.
go
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
The island life.
Yeah, the island life. Just,
Yes. So during the pandemic, actually, I had a couple of plans that didn't pan out of opening
Mhm.
up a restaurant in LA with
Oh,
my
okay.
brother, which I talked to you about, Eric, at one point. He never realized came to anything. But the reality is that one of the things that I'm going to start this new chapter is first, LA, Los Angeles, California
Hmm.
is incredibly expensive, not only to live, but to do any type of business.
Right.
Opening up a business and everything is crazy. It's crazy.
Hmm.
So I have a very close friend of mine, a crazy guy, the biggest heart in the whole world, but crazy,
Hmm.
that has been in the restaurant business for many, many years. He used to own a few restaurants here in LA, and then he got tired. Basically, he went through a crisis like me.
Hmm.
Uh, excuse me, and moved to Mexico first.
Mm.
From Mexico, he didn't pan out, and he ended up with two bags, two luggages, that said, in Puerto Rico, without knowing anybody.
Wow.
He ended up over there because a friend of a friend that was there, he ended up going to Ponce, which is on the other side of San Juan, okay,
Hmm.
with two luggage and nothing. That's it, and a little bit of money. And he started doing on a corner, doing Argentinian barbecues.
Oh, wow.
And now he has set up a very basic but functioning restaurant. And he invited me to join him and to give it a shot to see if I like this thing that I have a passion for, if I'm
Hmm.
gonna like it in the work form, in actually being there every day, doing the same thing every day, cooking, serving, etc., is very
Hmm.
different than inviting a few friends over to your house and getting drunk. I'm still gonna do that, but at a different level. So he invited me. We talked it over. It sounded great. So about a month ago, I decided to go and check it out.
Hmm.
So basically, what happened is the moment that I got my second vaccine, COVID vaccine, I booked my flight over to Puerto Rico. I wasn't going to fly without the vaccine. And I went there for 2 weeks that I actually dedicated to work with my friend at his restaurant. And I worked my ass off. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's island life. I mean, there is no compare. You cannot compare Los Angeles to Puerto Rico. Not that one is better than the other. It's just there's no comparison.
Right.
There is no comparison. And people were very welcoming. The gastronomy is very simple, and that gives me opportunity to open it up to what is it that I want to do, which is Peruvian food.
Mm.
And I'm going to start with a very simple offering, and from there we'll see.
So
Wow.
what I want to say is just, first of all, it's very commendable, and we in our show have always examples of people with overcome, surmount, and which are able to find the spark. And I call it the spark in life because um, many people just give up. and they
Right.
feel like, oh my God, the famous phrase, life has given me lemons, blah, 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 and then you turn it into lemonade. Well,
Hmm.
unfortunately, it's always, a little more complicated than that. Um, but it's so good to see, that there is recovery from misery, even if it means, hey, you know what? I have to move from a town like LA, and you
Hmm.
describe it pretty well. It's how should I say? It's very glamorous, but yes, it's very expensive, and people maybe don't realize that LA County has about a population of 18 million people.
Mhm.
It's huge. So of course there's also, all that competition which goes in, and there we have you going to Puerto Rico, to an island of Puerto Rico where the population is about 120,000.
154,000 in the city that I'm gonna be residing.
So 154,000. So we go from 18 million
Hmm.
to 156,000. That already by itself is a totally different, you know,
Dynamics.
ballgame. Yeah,
Yes,
Right.
dynamic.
yes, for
Totally,
sure.
totally
Yeah.
different.
Are you going to be, that famous shark in the small pond?
Yes, that's the
All
idea.
right.
That's the idea. It's better to be the head of the mouse than to be the tail of the lion.
That's right.
So basically my idea is to put to work my whole experience of being a manager and executive business experience into this small enterprise, very tiny, by myself with my friend and helps obviously, but very much tiny, but I want to put everything to work for me.
Yeah.
And I'm being extremely pragmatical in the sense that I'm not going thinking that I'm gonna be the next Iron Chef or gonna be, a Wolfgang Puck of the island, but I'm going with the idea that little by little I can grow and make a business that could be solid to make a living.
Well,
Right.
you
That
know what?
sounds.
I want to, sorry, Liz, if I'm
Hmm.
interrupting you here. I just want to make a kind of a shout out, to our viewers, especially of our LinkedIn professionals. Um, I know there's a lot of TV production and blah blah blah, and they're always looking for those reality shows. But hey, to you guys, what about you give Raul a little help, you know, in documenting what is going to happen in Puerto Rico?
Right.
Just
I
putting it
think
out there.
I think you can
Sorry.
be highly successful, Raul, because you have all the capabilities of making this a huge success because of your background,
I
and I
I,
know
I
that you
hope
have
so.
social media skills and,
Yeah.
so
I hope
hey,
so.
yeah, so
I
you put
really
all
hope
that
so.
together.
And anyways, if it doesn't pan out, I can always become the executive producer of the Eric and Lizz Show, and get paid
Oh
millions of
yeah, you're
dollars.
going to make a fortune.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Absolutely. And I like that idea of, you know, pretty much promoting your what you're going to be doing pretty much, because you never know. You never know how things are going to pan out over there. Everything always happens for a reason.
of course,
So,
of course.
you
And
know,
actually, since I came back from Puerto Rico from my recon trip,
Yeah.
mhm.
reconnaissance trip, I took over my friend's social media sites and already started promoting that I'm opening May 8th.
Oh
So I'm
wow.
already getting a good response from his clientele and social media aspects of what's gonna come pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's really awesome. So who would have thought that today, all the careers that we, the three of us are in, that we would actually have to pivot, and do something different.
That's a perfect word. We need to pivot.
Right.
Everything has to pivot.
Right.
Companies, enterprises, you need to pivot once you reach a plateau. You
Right.
need to pivot. If not, you're just going to be flat. And that's, I think, the feeling that I had for the past year and a half is a feeling of being stuck, that energies weren't moving, things weren't happening. Obviously the pandemic had a lot to do with it, but I tried to take that time to learn, to think, to be introspective on what is it that I wanted to do. I'm not a young pup like Eric, of course,
Sure.
but so
rub it in.
So the thing is that I think for me it was the perfect time in my life to make this type of drastic change. My daughters are grown. And it was, okay, let's do it. So I talked to them, went over my plans, my crazy plans, and they are supportive. My family and my friends are supportive. And that's important to me. That's the most important thing to me. And I'm going on this crazy but calculated adventure.
Wow, that's awesome. Like Eric said, document every day. You never know.
You know what, Eric? A while back, a couple of years ago, what you said was an actual idea from two friends of mine and myself of doing a reality show of exactly that. And it's basically a group of men going through a midlife crisis, economic crisis, career crisis, that decide to reinvent themselves from scratch by going someplace else. And the whole reality show was going to be, one, documenting their crisis and their planning of their next chapter, but also documenting the actual actions of the chapter. For example, one idea was to go to Thailand. Okay, so what does it require to go to Thailand? Do you need a visa? Do you need how much money do you need in order to travel? All of these things. So it was going to be like the enterprise of the business that they wanted to open, plus the behind the scenes of how they're going to make it happen. That was the idea. It was a fun idea, but ideas are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, and now you're finding yourself as the actor.
Exactly. I'm the protagonist. Yes. Yes. I'm the protagonist.
Oh my God. Yeah, hey, it's what it is. We all went through our crisis and so on. I will never forget. I found myself in the late 90s, 1996 in Dubai. Also due to circumstances. Um, yeah, life is pretty interesting, but where the important thing is really, and that's where I want to really get this message to, is there is a way out. It's just in resetting your goals, and that's what's so important. It's not letting you be crushed by the situation. And I know that's hard. And you have to go to people sometimes, to help you to realize that, to say, oh, I'm not at the end.
No, for sure. That's why I used to go to my favorite bartender every single night. He used to listen to me, give me great advice, and serve me great cocktails.
I think you have, you like Japanese whiskeys, don't you?
Yes, I do, when I was able to afford them.
So in the first place, if I get you right, your bartender didn't understand you in the first place anyhow. So you could just let it all out.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, okay. That was low. That was really low.
No problem. No problem.
But it was so funny in the old days. I'm really going back, in my career, but about 40 years ago, bartenders were one of the most trusted persons in hotels because they were actually really the only people that the people would talk to at the end of the night and would tell them the day, tell them their sorrows, and then would get a therapy tip.
Oh, don't forget, hey,
I
don't
had-
forget about hairstylist. You can talk to your
Yeah, they
hairstylist
were-
too. Or your barber.
True.
That is
That could be a very good business model. A
Yeah.
hairstylist that is a bartender that gives you drinks while they cut your hair, just do a bar salon type of activity or
Yeah,
something.
well, the
Right.
good thing is you won't complain about your haircut at the end.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll basically gonna be leaving May 3rd,
Oh, wow.
which is in 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost 1 week or whatever. And one-way ticket, no return. I'm burning the ships,
All right.
So I just gonna have a little flavor of both just in case, but that's about it for my way back. And I start opening up my segment of the restaurant on the 8th. And my segment of the restaurant is called Tradiciones Peruanas, which means Peruvian traditions.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Spanish is the first language over there, so I had to use a Spanish name. And it's a homage to my great-grandfather's very famous Peruvian book, probably one of the most famous Peruvian books, or he was a writer, a very famous writer.
Mm-hmm.
And that book is called Tradiciones Peruanas, which is a huge book of short stories about the traditions from the colony to the viceroy in Peru, etc., etc. So I decided to give a little homage, and hopefully, all my ancestors will look upon me and give me their blessing, and I'll be a success.
Right. Exactly.
Well, we will be definitely thinking of you. And if you want to send some snippets in from time to time, I would post them on the back of the show.
Perfect.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Please do. Keep us updated. I know you'll keep Eric posted.
I don't know if you have access to those two little snippets you send me.
Yes.
Can I share the screens? Would you be able to bring them up?
I believe so. Yeah. I'll look
Okay, let's take one of the two, and just for you to, okay, share some.
Okay, let me share the screen.
Okay, you should be able to.
You are sharing the screen, Eric. You need to get out of share screen.
Yeah, I know. I like to take things over, I guess.
Yeah, you always
There you
been
go.
that way. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. Share
Yeah,
screen,
especially the audio, very important.
okay, do you see a black screen right now?
I see.
We see all your documents.
Thumbnails.
What about this? No,
Nope.
hold on. Let me
I can hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a little thing that I pulled together really fast. Let me do Share screen, QuickTime Player. There we go. Ready? So
Yes.
this is a little thing that I did in about an hour and a half at home, just to promote that my sandwiches are coming to Puerto Rico.
Oh,
Can you put the sound up a little bit?
Okay. If you want
wow.
to see, let me see if I find the other video that shows a bit of where the restaurant is at, and it has the song. The restaurant name is Santino's.
Santinos.
Right. He used to have a Santino's, two Santino's here in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and it's his son's name. So let me see, where is it at?
Tell me, do they sing Santino's SOS?
SO?
S? It sounds like Santino's SOS. You know, it's just when
No, it sounds, it's S from the is Santino's, but it sounds like SOS. You're right, it sounds like SOS. Let me see.
Yeah, don't let me learn another language, please.
Where can it be? Downloads.
That's okay. We only see
Yeah.
a dark screen with a cursor, so it's fine.
Yes, I'm trying to find it, but I don't know where it is. Don't worry. So basically I'm gonna start sharing. That's a little snippet of my sandwich. What do you think, Liz?
Oh man, I love it. I'm a foodie.
Good.
No one knows it though, but I guess they know today. But I love presentations of different dishes. That looks very good.
Good.
And I love those red onions.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the secret sauce is in the onions.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
And what's important, you know, soon, not soon enough, but we will be back open for travel.
And I'll be waiting for you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Is that an invitation?
That is an invitation.
Okay.
Of course.
Not
Of
just
course.
an invitation for us,
All
but
right.
for everyone else who is like, where am I going to go? I need something special to go to. You know what? Raul.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You can definitely check it out. And, you know, the food is great. At night, there's different mixtures of ethnic foods from Argentinian pizzas. Everything is wood fire on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
There is no gas. There is nothing. It's wood fire. Everything is cooked. The pizzas are cooked on the grill.
Oh, wow.
Everything is cooked on the grill, and it's a great atmosphere, very relaxed and casual. You want me to bring your tux, Eric, or your little silk scarf?
I don't.
No, I won't.
You
let
get to wear
in.
your Tommy Bahama shirts.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dang. I'm like, where am I going to get that from? But anyhow.
All right. Wow.
So I'm very happy to see you laugh and smile. I know there were a lot of decisions involved to do that. At the end of the day, you know, it's, how shall I say, you know, you have to guarantee also your own survival so you can take care of other people's survival.
Oh no, completely. I think that's where I was. That's where I'm at. Is kind of like I need to take care of myself. I need to be well. I need to be happy in order to make my family happy and my friends happy as well. If not, I'll be a miserable bastard that nobody would like to talk to. You know.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't want you to go down as a Charles Bukowski in the history books.
I drink like him, but I hope I would write like him, but I don't. But yes, I pick up a couple of bad habits from good old Charlie.
Good,
I-
Charlie. Yeah.
his close friends used to call him Charlie.
You see, I wasn't as close. Oh gosh. Liz, do you
Yes,
have any final words you want to say to Raul before he is leaving?
absolutely. I just want to say that, first of all, I think you're going to be a huge success over in Puerto Rico. And, just trust yourself. I know you had an amazing career here. You're just going to take it somewhere else. And you're going to be able to use your hospitality skills, which, is very much needed anywhere you go, hospitality. We're missing that so much. And you seem like a really, vibrant person. So I would say take your skills with you and just do what you did here over there, and you're going to be a huge success. How about having, opening up a couple more and then coming back? You never know.
You never know.
You never know how this thing is going to turn out,
You never know. You're completely right, Liz. And thank you so much for your words. Very kind of you.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
And yes, you guys are welcome to come.
Okay.
And everybody that is listening, this is called Santinos Tradiciones Peruanas in Ponce, Puerto Rico. I don't have my hashtags. It's santinos.parrillada.argentina, but the handle, but I'll send you a link later, Eric.
You know
and
what
can
you
put it
do?
in the script.
Okay.
Just send me something I'm going to put up with the recording.
Yes, perfect. I'll send you all the handles.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever need, I'm going to put it on, and we give you 2 thumbs up, crossed fingers. In France, we say merde.
Merde, mucha mierda. Yes. We say it in Latin America too.
Oh, wow.
So let's the shit roll down the hill.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I can't wait to connect back with you from Puerto Rico. We'd love to have you from Puerto Rico. That'd be awesome.
Oh yes, let's do a cookout. I'll be out in the restaurant, and we'll do the show from the restaurant or something like that.
There you go.
Over there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Loving it.
So let's definitely be creative and let's do stuff. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
All right.
You're more than welcome. You the best success with the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Thank you. Take care. Safe travels on the 3rd.
Thank you, guys.
Bye to our viewers, and see you next week.
Right. See you next Thursday.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.